Snow White and Rose Red. A poor woman lived in a small house. She had a garden with 2 rose trees. One had white roses and the other had red roses. The woman had 2 daughters. They were like the rose trees. One was called Snow White and the other was called Rose Red. They were good and kind, busy and strong. Snow White was calm and quiet. Rose Red liked to run in the fields, find flowers, and catch birds. Snow White stayed home with her mother. She helped her mother or read aloud. The 2 girls loved each other very much. They always held hands. Snow White would say, "We will always be together." Rose Red would say, "Yes, always." Their mother would add, "Share everything you have." They often went to the woods together to pick berries. No animal ever hurt them. Animals liked them. Rabbits ate parsley from their hands. Deer ate near them. Birds stayed on branches and sang. Nothing bad happened to them. If night came in the woods, they slept on the soft ground until morning. Their mother was not worried about them. One morning, after sleeping in the woods, they woke up. They saw a beautiful child in a white dress. The child looked like diamonds. The child sat near them. The child stood up when they opened their eyes and looked at them kindly. The child did not speak and walked into the woods. The girls looked around. They saw they had slept near a very high cliff. They would have fallen if they walked 2 steps more in the dark. Their mother said the child was an angel who watched over good children. Snow White and Rose Red kept their mother's house very clean. It was nice to look at. In summer, Rose Red took care of the house. Every morning before her mother woke up, she put a rose from each tree by her bed. In winter, Snow White made a fire and cleaned the kettle until it shined like gold. In the evening, when it snowed, their mother told them to lock the door. Then, the mother read from a big book by the fire. The girls spun thread. A lamb lay near them. A white pigeon slept on a perch. One evening, they were all sitting together. Someone knocked on the door. "Quick, Rose Red," said her mother. "Open the door. It must be a traveler." Rose Red opened the door. She thought it would be a poor man. But it was a bear. The bear put its big black head inside the door. Rose Red screamed and jumped back. The lamb made a noise. The dove flapped its wings. Snow White hid behind her mother's bed. The bear spoke. It said, "Don't be afraid. I will not hurt you. I am very cold and want to warm myself by your fire." "Poor bear," the mother said. "Come in and lie by the fire. Be careful not to burn your fur." Then she called Snow White and Rose Red. She told them the bear was kind and would not hurt them. They came as she asked. Soon the lamb and dove also came near without fear. "Children," the bear asked, "please brush the snow off my coat." So they took a broom and cleaned the bear's coat. After that, the bear lay in front of the fire. It made small noises to show it was happy. Soon they were all good friends. The children played with the bear. They pulled its thick fur. They put their feet on its back. They rolled it over. They took a small branch and used it on its fur. They laughed when it made noises. The bear let them play. Sometimes when they went too far, it said, "Children, please be gentle." When it was night and everyone was ready for bed, the widow told the bear, "You can stay here and sleep by the fire. It will keep you warm and safe from bad weather." The bear agreed. In the morning, when the sun came up, the children let the bear out. It walked over the snow back into the woods. After this, the bear came every evening at the same time. It lay by the fire and let the children play with it. They liked their strange friend very much. They did not lock the door until the bear had come. When spring came and everything became green and bright, one morning the bear said to Snow White, "I must leave you now. I cannot come back all summer." "Where are you going, dear bear?" Snow White asked. I must go to the woods to keep my treasure safe from the bad dwarfs. In winter, when the ground is hard, they stay underground. But now the sun has melted the ground, and they can come up. They take everything they find or bring to their caves. You almost never see it again." Snow White was very sad when she said goodbye to the kind bear. She opened the door for it to leave. As it went out, its fur got caught on a hook above the door. A piece of its fur tore. Snow White thought she saw something shiny like gold in the torn fur, but the bear left so fast that she was not sure what it was. Soon it was hidden among the trees. One day, their mother sent the girls to the woods to pick up sticks. They found a big tree on the ground. It had been cut down. Near the roots, they saw something jumping. They could not tell what it was because it was sometimes hidden in the grass. As they came closer, they saw it was a dwarf. It had an old face and a white beard that was very long. The beard was stuck in a cut in the tree. The small dwarf was jumping back and forth like a dog on a rope, but it could not get free. It looked at the girls with red, fiery eyes. It called out, "Why are you standing there? Can't you help me?" "What were you doing?" asked Rose Red. "You silly, curious girl," the dwarf answered. "I wanted to cut the tree to make wood for cooking. Big pieces of wood burn too much food. People like us don't eat a lot, like you fat, hungry people. I hit the tree with my tool. I would have finished soon, but the tool jumped out and the tree closed fast. It caught my beautiful white beard, and now I am stuck. I cannot free myself. You silly, pale girls, are you laughing?" Even though the dwarf was angry, the girls tried hard to help him, but they could not. The beard was stuck too tightly. "I will run and get someone else," said Rose Red. "Idiot!" cried the dwarf. "Who would go and get more people? There are already too many of you. Can't you think of something better?" "Don't be so upset," said Snow White. "I will try to think." She clapped her hands as if she had an idea. She took out her scissors. In a moment, she cut the end of his beard and set the dwarf free. As soon as the dwarf was free, he grabbed a bag of gold hidden under the tree roots. He picked it up and grumbled, "You clumsy girls, to cut a bit of my beautiful beard. I am so proud of it. I hope no one thanks you for what you did." He put the bag on his shoulder and left without looking at the girls. Not long after, the two sisters went to fish in the river for dinner. As they came near the water, they saw something like a big grasshopper jumping towards the river, as if it would fall in. They hurried to see what it was, and found it was the dwarf. "Where are you going?" said Rose Red. "You won't jump into the water, will you?" "I am not that foolish," yelled the dwarf. "Don't you see a bad fish pulling me in?" The dwarf had been fishing from the side of the river. The wind had tangled his beard in his fishing line. Then a big fish took the bait. The unfriendly dwarf was not strong enough to pull it out, so the fish pulled the dwarf. He grabbed every plant near him, but it did not help much. He had to follow the fish's pulls and was always in danger of falling into the river. The girls came just in time. They held him tightly and tried to untangle his beard from the line, but it was no use. They were too tangled. The only thing to do was use the scissors again, so they took them out and cut off the tangled part. When the dwarf saw what they were doing, he yelled angrily, "Is this how you damage my beard? You made it shorter before and now you make it even smaller. You are ruining it. I will never dare show my face to my friends. I wish you had gotten lost before you came this way." Then he got a bag of pearls that lay in the plants. Without another word, he limped away and disappeared behind a big stone. Soon after, the poor widow sent her children to town to buy cotton, needles, ribbon, and tape. The way to town went over open land with many big rocks. The children soon saw a big bird in the air. They saw that it flew in circles for a time, slowly going closer to the ground. Then it suddenly dove down into some rocks. They heard a sad cry. They ran quickly to the place. They saw, with fear, that the eagle had caught the dwarf they knew. It was about to take him away. The kind children did not wait. They held the dwarf tightly and fought hard with the eagle for the dwarf. After a lot of fighting, the dwarf was left with his brave friends. The eagle flew away. As soon as the dwarf was a little less scared, his small, high voice was heard. "Couldn't you have held me more gently? Look at my little coat. You have torn and ruined it, you clumsy, bossy girls." Then he picked up a bag of jewels and hid behind a rock. By this time, the girls were used to his ungrateful and unkind ways, so they did not mind. They went on their way, bought what they needed, and then were ready to go back to their happy home. On their way back, they suddenly saw their dwarf friend again. In a clear space, he had emptied his bag of jewels. He was counting and looking at them. He did not think anyone would be crossing the open land so late. The sun was setting on the bright stones. Their changing colors and sparkling light made the children stop to look at them. "What are you looking at?" cried the dwarf. He turned red with anger. "And why are you standing there making ugly faces?" He might have said more mean things, but suddenly a loud growl was heard near them. A big black bear joined them. The dwarf jumped up, very scared. But he could not get to his hiding place. The bear was too close, so he cried out in great pain, "Dear Mr. Bear, please forgive me. I will give you all my treasure. Look at those precious stones there. Please let me live. What would you do with such a small, unimportant person? You would not even feel me in your teeth. But look, those two children, they would be good to eat. They are plump like birds. I beg you to take them, good Mr. Bear, and let me go." But the bear was not moved by his words. It hit the bad dwarf with its paw. The dwarf lay on the ground, not moving. Meanwhile, the girls were running away, going home as fast as they could. But suddenly they stopped when a familiar voice called out, "Snow White, Rose Red, wait, don't be afraid, I will come with you." The bear quickly came towards them, but as it reached their side, the bear's skin fell to the ground. A handsome man stood before them dressed in gold. He said, "I am a king's son. The wicked dwarf lying over there put a magic spell on me. He stole my treasure. He made me live in the woods as a big bear until he died, so he has gotten what he deserved." Some time later, Snow White married the prince. Rose Red married his brother. They shared the big treasure the dwarf had collected in his cave. The old mother lived many happy years with her children.